Wilson County Football Media Days. Brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric. Main Street Media will be bringing you exclusive interviews from coaches, players, and special guests. And now, broadcasting live from Aubrey's Restaurant on West Main Street in Lebanon, here is your host, David Wilson.
Everyone, and welcome to Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. I'm the Wilson Post and Chronicle of Mount Juliet sports editor, David Wilson. And yes, we finally made it, the last and final day of Media Days. Special thanks once again to all the schools that have partnered with us so far to make this event happen. On Monday, we had visits from Mount Juliet, Lebanon, and Wilson Central yesterday. On Tuesday, we had Friendship Christian and Watertown stopping by. And we're closing out the afternoon tonight with Green Hill with the nightcap. But right now, it's time for Mount Juliet Christian Academy to visit with us for the next hour. Their segment is brought to you by the Legacy Athletic Fund, a sports-focused nonprofit dedicated to athlete development, character building, and promoting healthy lifestyles through education and community engagement. And I am pleased to be joined now. And Coach, thank you for being here. First year Mount Juliet Christian football coach, Brett Rittenauer. Coach, appreciate you being here on this occasion as we get ready for some high school football.
Thank you so much for having us and for putting this all on. This is amazing and huge for football in Wilson County.
Yeah,
to be here.
Yeah, Coach, we appreciate you being here. Maiden voyage for you this offseason as the head coach at Mount Juliet Christian Academy. Obviously not your first head coaching experience overall. For someone who's watching that has not had the pleasure of meeting you thus far, obviously your journey began in Nevada.
Yes.
And you've made your way to the mid-state. Kind of talk about that journey so far and how you ended up being here.
Yeah, so I'm from Nevada, from Las Vegas. Coached at my alma mater for 13, 14 years. We're a top 3 school in the state of Nevada. Worked my way up to offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, before leaving to take my first head coaching job at Western High School in Nevada. My wife's from the South. She's from Georgia, so she always wanted to move back.
There you go.
So the opportunity presented itself. Started working at MJCA last fall, coached middle school, and I teach PE up there. And when the opportunity came to jump into the head role for high school, I jumped at it because MJCA is a special place.
I am not married yet, but I've heard the saying many times, happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. Absolutely. And absolutely.
Yeah,
doesn't get much further than that.
Yeah, I have to ask you, I talked to Josh Kniffel at Wilson Central, who is a first-year head coach overall going into the season. And I'm interested to get your perspective on this. There's a lot of things you learn from that first coaching stop, even that first year to your second year. For you now, your first job to your second job, what were some things that you learned at your first stop, as you mentioned, that you're going to take into the second time with MJCA?
So I've learned a whole lot. I'm beyond blessed that in my 6 years as an offensive coordinator, I kind of also was an assistant head coach. Our head coach at the time, Matt Gerber, gave me a lot of responsibility. So I was able to kind of learn before I even got the job. And then my first head coach, Coach Barnson, he kind of did the same. He put a lot on my plate. So I was able to learn so much behind the scenes before we even started. But some things I'll really take just comes to building culture, how we go about building culture and kind of just adjusting to a new staff.
Sure. Yeah, I would say, and just obviously reading your bio when MJCA had the original press release, obviously a veteran in Nevada with over 15 years of experience there, had the fortunate opportunity, you had over 80 players go on to play college football. Mm-hmm. What was something, I guess, stylistically that allowed them guys to be so successful that you want to take over to MJCA in this first year?
So one of the main things was just believing in what we do and believing in themselves and kind of, not to sound cliche, but trusting the process. We live in a world with college athletics, and now it's even bleeding into high school athletics, where, with the transfer portal, with leaving, going stop to stop to stop, that can only go so far. When you're able to go to a place, run the same scheme for 4+ years, develop with the weight room, play with the teammates, it goes a long way. The first stop that I was at, we also had a great youth program.
Sure.
So we had kids coming in from 2nd and 3rd grade running the stuff till they graduated. And that's very appealing here at MJCA because we have our flag team, we have our middle school team, and our high school team. So we can kind of have the same situation. We can have kids come in as kindergartners, 1st graders, start playing flag football, and carry it on all the way through, till they graduate.
Yeah, an added benefit for you as you head into this first season is, as you mentioned on your open, you had experience on campus last year at the middle school level. Obviously now taking over for Dan Davis, who was there for 12 years, one of the longer tenured head coaches in the area. You know a lot of the guys that you're inheriting now. How important was that to have just some familiarity with them as you head into this season?
It was extremely important. I mean, not going into it blind, but at the same time, it was still about earning their trust. Because in my head, I have the experience. I've done the things. To them, I was the middle school coach. So it was about earning their trust, kind of proving to them I am who I say I am more than anything. But they're a great group of guys. So being able to interact with them even before I got the job and being on campus immediately as I got the job made the transition extremely smooth.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting and talking to you at the Titans Media Day at Nissan Stadium just a couple weeks ago. I appreciate you were very candid with me, saying, we're kind of a little struggling right now with just numbers and trying to, evenly play guys as most teams do at this level on both sides of the football. Where do you kind of stand now when it comes to that as you head into the season?
So I think there's a lot of schools throughout, not just Middle Tennessee, but kind of everywhere in Tennessee struggling with numbers, especially with this kind of new transfer rule.
Sure.
It's something that I think the TSSAA anticipated. So we're slowly but surely getting there. For me, it was about recruiting the hallways, getting the kids who we have on campus out with us first. So our numbers are getting stronger. It's kind of a day-by-day thing. It's something that I knew and anticipated taking the job to begin with. So we're getting there. It's slowly but surely. It's kind of a one day at a time type of build.
Yeah, and obviously the TSSAA makes that ruling this offseason. I was going back and looking at the media day roster from last year for MJCA. Coach Davis just had 23 players listed there, just 2 seniors. Obviously, those 2 graduate now. Some transfers within the program, and that number slowly dwindles. Some news came out, I guess, yesterday. You guys are looking to potentially co-op with Republic just to kind of strengthen your base. Where do you feel like that stands right now for you guys?
So it's something we've looked into, we've talked about, we've prayed about for a while. There were many different schools who we've kind of thrown the idea out with. Being a small school with small numbers, it's something that it feels a necessity. Going against some of these programs with much bigger numbers, much more established numbers, it's something that we feel can be a benefit for everybody. Of course, football is a game of numbers. Any way you look at it. So being able to get more numbers in our program through conventional and even kind of an unconventional co-op way, it's very beneficial for our boys because we're able to focus in on them more. For the Republic boys or whatever school it may be, to give them a chance to actually play the sport. Because I think everyone who loves football can agree it's, you only get 4 years in high school to do it. I think for those of us who played football, it's some of the core memories. I always say, when you go to your high school reunion one day, it's going to be that corner guys, football players who are over in the corner talking about that one random game, that memory, whatever it may be. So it's something that we're looking at to build the program to give others opportunity. And I was really kind of pleased as I went through the process because there are so many more schools co-oping than I kind of first even anticipated. Right. Some schools who you might not even think are co-oping with smaller schools. So it just gives us an opportunity to build our program and strengthen our program.
And as we kind of talked about at Media Day with the Titans, there's a lot of good things that are happening on the campus of MJC. Obviously, this spring you break ground on a new facility, $2.5 million, one of the larger projects in school history. A lot of good things that's going to service not only your football program but other athletic teams there as well. I know that's something that it really excites you and Absolutely. Something that you can send throughout Mount Juliet of we're doing the right things to have. Allow your child to be successful both here in the short term and long term.
Absolutely. Yeah, we broke ground back in the spring on our $2.5 million practice facility. It's about 150 by 100 yards wide. We'll have over 50 yards of indoor turf. It'll be lined, bathrooms, batting cages, and it can be utilized from our football team to our middle school team to PE classes, basketball, baseball, softball, elementary flag, band, anything you imagine it can be used for. They've been working on it every day. There's trucks going in and out. We've been waiting for this weather to calm down, rain to calm down so we can get some concrete poured and kind of take those next step towards it.
Yeah, I have to ask you, I asked Seth Price this yesterday when it came to Watertown basketball, him going into his first season as a head coach at that program. When we watch your team play this fall, what's one key attribute, whether, it's physicality, toughness, etc. What's one thing that you're going to lay your hat on and say, if we're winning football games, if we're competing, we're doing this well?
Number one is we want to be physical. We want to be physical in every aspect that we do. Offensively, defensively, we want to be physical, tough, aggressive, smart. some kind of cliches you hear a lot in football, but it's things that we preach every single day with our boys. But more than anything, we want to be smart. We got to know our assignments. We have to know offensively our blocking schemes, how we're running things, our routes. So we just want to be physical, smart, tough, aggressive. Go a little bit more in depth. We want to control the football. The longer we have the ball in our hands, the less our opponent has in the hands, whether it's shortening games, winning time of possession. I know, Chucky Richardson, our DC's over there. He's going to tell you we want to win the turnover battle every single game. We want to limit explosive plays. So some of those variants that we can control, we're going to control and hopefully translate to on the field.
Right, you got some players out here hanging in the back. They're going to join us in a little bit. Some of those guys are going to contribute to that physicality, both on the offensive and defensive line as well. Thatcher is here. Obviously, he was a second-team All-County performer for us last year on our Wilson Post team. One of the leaders in Division II-A Middle Region in sacks. Someone who likes to get out to the quarterback, but also can make tackles for loss as well. Anything that you need from him, he can do. He has the ability to do. What excites you about him, and what have you learned about him so far that he can take his game to the next level?
So, Thatcher, he's such an amazing player and such an amazing young man as well. He's the undisputed leader of our team. Anything that we need done, it's already done before us coaches can even mention it because Thatcher's there handling it. So as much as the on-the-field stuff, his work ethic, all that stuff is absolutely amazing. His leadership that he takes off the field into the locker room, kind of taking with the young guys, is even more impressive.
Who's some other guys offensively, defensively, as you've kind of worked through the summer and practice that are standing out to you right now that are going to be key contributors for this fall? And maybe kind of shout out a guy who maybe is not getting talked about within the team necessarily, but if the coaches are really circling on, week 7, week 8, week 9, that guy's going to step up and make a play for us when it matters most.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start with our offensive line. Thatcher kind of anchoring our offensive line. We have Isaac Otto, who's being another big piece within our offensive line, being able to step up. Braden Pelkington coming out, he's as strong as can be. Those guys just kind of anchoring our offensive line, controlling everything we're going to do has been huge for us. Some of the guys who we have here today, Mason Young leading us at quarterback. He's a young guy. He's a sophomore, but his work ethic is second to none. He's stepped up to learn every aspect of the offense that's necessary. There's been some early mornings. There's been late sessions after practice. He'll come with a list some days of questions of what do we mean with this? What do we mean with this? So him really trying to fine tune what we're trying to do has been amazing. And then we have Dylan Flatt. Dylan Flatt's playing some running backs and fullback and some linebacker for us. He is just a stalwart in the middle of the field on the defensive side. He's extremely physical, smart, and kind of everything you can ask for in a football player. So you get out of Dylan. And then we have Jonah Kleinman as well. Jonah has been everything is advertised and more. Being able to watch him last year, he seemed like he was in on every tackle. He was always near the ball on offense. When they needed a big play, when they needed that 1 yard, it was Jonah. And everything that I saw last year translated now. He's going to be tight end for us, some receiver if need be, and linebacker as well. So there's some guys who are, who we got here. Like I said, going to shout out our linemen as well. Yeah. And some guys who might, step up as need be. We'll be a little bit younger on the younger side this year. So, we have a freshman running back, Helen Foster, who played for me in the middle school team last year. He's smart. He's aggressive. He's got explosiveness. So look out for him. Beckett Norris is another one who played on the team last year. It was kind of all over the place, kind of like a, Swiss Army knife. And he's playing some running back for us. And he's one of the fastest kids I've coached in a while.
Yeah, I'll say, and all that was really good stuff. One common synopsis when it just comes to high school football is you can't replace experience. And guys like Thatcher, obviously, and Jonah have a lot of experience. They have played a lot of snaps in your region, which is going to only provide more value for them as they step into even more increased roles for your program this fall. Hanging out with Mount Juliet Christian, first-year coach Brett Ridnour here on their segment of our Wilson County Media Days. And Coach, just looking at the first 2 games of your schedule, you're going to be at home in the comfort of your own bed, playing against Joe Burns and Concord Christian, 2 teams that kind of give you a different looks offensively and defensively as well. As you've kind of started to prepare for week 1 of the season and week 2, what are some things that you've kind of noticed so far, or at least some things that you guys are planning to do to allow yourself to be successful?
So, the focus of our spring ball and our summer has been, as we kind of say, we're going to do us. These are our rules offensively. These are our schemes. These are our rules defensively, our schemes. And as we get into the nitty gritty of planning, that's when those rules are going to be able to apply. At the end of the day, football's a copycat game. You know, you can only see so many things. Every concept, every blocking scheme is used, reused over and over again in a different way. So it's us being able to coach against that. Whether we're facing a gap scheme or run scheme defensively, we're going to have our rules for it when we come to how we attack, how we align, and be able to go from there. So really not try to focus as much on exactly what they did, but what we're going to do, and then see what this year's team looked like. Because especially, like I said, with the transfer portal, I don't think there's been a team who hasn't been affected by it probably in a major way this year. So kind of see what these teams look like, see what they're doing different, be able to attack it, doing what we're doing. So like, especially football being a copycat world, being a copycat game, there's too many coaches on Friday nights who love to watch Saturday and Sunday and go, ooh, let me do that, and not do what they do good. We're going to do what we do extremely well, and then being able to attack teams from it.
You know, just looking at the landscape of your region, obviously you probably saw it last year from afar. One of the more talented regions in the state, regardless of classification. You're in a region with the two-time defending state champs in National Christian, and within your own county, obviously Friendship Christian is a team that has been kind of pegged as a contender to potentially unseat them. As you look at the landscape of that, how do you feel like you guys can fit in and potentially try to work your way to potentially getting back to the playoffs, which is ultimately the goal for every team at the beginning of the season?
Absolutely. So we need to take everything one game at a time. Our weekly goal is to go 1-0 on this week. We're in an extremely tough division. We're in an extremely talented division. We're in an extremely well-coached division. So try not to look too far ahead. Try not to get the boys looking too far ahead in anything that we do. We need to focus on kind of the task, immediately ahead. And that's these scrimmages coming up, and then being able to move ahead and go 1-0 each and every week. But it's kind of, step by step. We're going to have ups, we're going to have downs throughout the season, kind of just like play to play in a football game. But it's about being able to ride that wave of emotions, keep ourselves grounded, doing what we're going to do as MJCA, and taking it one game at a time.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you being here and hanging out with us for the final day of Media Day. Thank you for being so candid and honest with us. Good luck in the season. We'll talk to you shortly, and enjoy the rest of your night hanging out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll have some players to talk to right after this. Stick with us.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Doing, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
When I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we guide our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. I'm the Wilson Post and Chronicle of Mount Juliet sports editor David Wilson. Joining me now as we continue our Mount Juliet Christian segment, which is brought to you by the Legacy Athletic Fund, a sports-focused nonprofit dedicated to athlete development, character building, and promoting healthy lifestyles through education and community. We got a host of Mount Juliet Christian Saints that you're going to see on the gridiron this fall as they prepare to open up their season on August 21st at home against Joe Burns. To my left, sitting in the chair, is Thatcher Lanier. To my right, sitting in the chair, is Jonah Kleiman, and Dylan Flatt is behind me as well, and Mason Young as well, a quarterback that you will see on the gridiron this fall. And Thatcher, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, you were one of the top returners defensively when it comes to tackles in the state. 42 tackles last year, 15 tackles for loss. One of the middle region leaders last year with 8 sacks, which was, a really heavy contested league that obviously has Friendship Christian and Nashville Christian as well. Just going back to last season before we get into this year, what do you feel like allowed you to be so successful, particularly rushing the passer defensively, to allow you to be one of the top in the middle region and the state overall?
Well, first off, I would just like to thank God for all the talent that he's given me, and I wouldn't be able to do it without him. But throughout the year, a lot of what happened for me to be able to get sacks was I was switched from interior lineman to outside lineman, and as an outside lineman, I was just way better at just being able to get off of him instead of fighting 2 people at once, which I recommend anybody just to try it once. It's so much fun just being able to do that. But other than that, it's just working on your moves, get a deeper kit, and basically just get stronger, get in the gym.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you mentioned that transition from going inside to outside, more of an outside linebacker kind of role. What was that transition like? How hard was that, particularly in the middle of the season when you're trying to make an adjustment like that and still be productive for your team?
Well, I wasn't getting a lot done at interior lineman. I was holding them off, but I could never really break through. And when I wouldn't be able to get the QB or anything. So honestly, I kind of just asked Coach, can I try to get to the outside just once or twice? And then I just fell in love with it.
I have to ask you, obviously, you're one of the veterans of this team that's been around this program for a while. Obviously, with the first-time transfer rule that came into effect this past offseason, your guys' numbers kind of dwindled. Some guys have moved on to some other places. We're to the point where now, your numbers are really thin and potentially needing a co-op this offseason to continue to play football this fall. I guess kind of how frustrating is that, particularly as a guy who's been there a long time, and obviously has wanted to see this thing succeed and grow and continue moving forward.
Well, I mean, it's honestly pretty frustrating that throughout all of NJCA's career, like my career at NJCA, many people have left ever since even before the transfer rule. But even now, I have decided this year, like through many doubts and just thoughts of maybe even like quitting, I've decided to stick it out, and I'm going to do everything I can for this team, and they're going to do everything they can for me.
Yeah, I really love that answer right there, Jonah. I'm going to really transition it really quickly. Obviously, defensively as well from your linebacking position. Another one of the guys that kind of led all of Wilson County in tackles. You had a 61 last year as well. Also, you play a big role for this team on the offensive side of the football as well. Coach kind of circled you as a guy as when offensively, when we're going to need to make a play on offense. Jonah's going to be involved with that. What do you feel like last year for you, particularly on the defensive end, because that's where you made your mark, allowed you to be so successful for the team?
Well, I would just say that just being focused in the game, focusing on key aspects, watching the run, studying film, knowing what to expect from your opponent is always the most important thing. You got to know whether they're an inside run, a sweep, jujets, all kinds of things. It's always very important to study and focus.
Oh, appreciate that. We'll slide that over. You smart thinking. I didn't think of that all week. Then you do that. So that's what I need you here for. To take a step further, obviously this is the first offseason with the coaching change for you guys. Coach Rittenauer stepping in for Coach Davis. What's something this summer, just talking to Coach and just getting to know him? Obviously, he was involved in the middle school program last year, but first year as the high school head coach, what's some things that you kind of learned about him and what makes you excited about this year and what it can be like?
Well, I would like to say he's quite different from our previous coach, Coach Davis. He is more unconventional with the way he runs his defense and offense. He has decided to change it up a good bit from what we've done, and he's built off what we have had, but he's teaching us new things we haven't learned, keeping it simple yet making it complex.
I would say elaborate on that for me. Offensively, what's something that you guys have done this offseason differently that really excites you compared to, things that you did last year? Obviously, last year, you guys would, operate a lot in the shotgun as well, a lot of different things. But offensively, stylistically, scheme-wise, what excites you, some things that you're doing that you can show to opponents this year?
Well, I would like to say that we're running a totally different scheme than last year, where last year we ran more of a spread. This year we'll run more tight double wing, and it should be very eventful compared to just the same old.
Yeah. I'm going to slide this over to you. All right. Is that cool? Appreciate you. Switch. Talking to Dylan Flatt now. Dylan, Coach kind of pegged you as a guy, particularly at the running backs, fullback position, that's going to get a lot of carries. What's that transition been like? Just learning a new offense and trying to implement his scheme and just kind of style with the team.
Well, I'm glad the past few years I haven't really got a chance to be at those certain positions. I've always felt drawn to those and always been pretty good at them. But I feel like this year, getting my chance and getting in there, I'm taking everything I can get.
Yeah. Coach kind of mentioned that just with the physicality that is in your region, obviously with Nashville Christian, who's won 2 straight state championships with Friendship Christian as well, DCA. There's a lot of physical football teams in your region. He said he wants to be one of those. And part of that is running the football. I know that has to excite you about, being able to ground and pound per se and give guys like Thatcher an opportunity to get downhill and crush some guys.
Yes, sir. Getting the ball and getting down straight. You're making touchdowns and winning games.
I got it. Mason, come on and slide in. Oh, you're there. There you are. Mason, you're a sophomore coming up this fall on this team. Coach kind of just talked about your development and growth over the offseason, trying to learn the position and understand what he's looking for. What are those conversations like, particularly at practice, just learning the scheme offensively and, adjusting to the things that he wants?
I'm thankful for the opportunity it gives me. It's a chance to be a leadership and step up for the team. Whatever they need for me to do is what I need to do. But just trying to learn a new scheme of playbook. It's a different playbook from last year. A different scheme. Just mainly being disciplined, doing our job, and just doing what they need me to do.
You mentioned being a leader as the quarterback. Obviously, you're a guy the guys look to on second down, first down, third down to command the huddle and take presence of the offense. How have you kind of found your voice this offseason and being a guy that your offensive line and your running backs, obviously, and your receivers can depend on?
Just knowing that, they can believe in me, and that, believe in what I can do, and I can believe in what they do, and get involved.
Well, guys, we really appreciate you hanging out with us for just a brief time here on your Media Day segment. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Good luck this season, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, we're going to take a commercial break right here. Coming up, we'll talk to MJCA Defensive Coordinator Chucky Richardson right after this. Stay with us.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
When I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. I'm the Wilson Post and Chronicle of Mount Juliet sports editor David Wilson, continuing our Mount Juliet Christian segment here that is brought to you by the Legacy Athletic Fund, joined now by first-year Mount Juliet Christian defensive coordinator Chucky Richardson. Chucky, appreciate you being here on this festive day and joining us.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Man, we were just kind of reminiscing right there. Obviously, this is your first year at Mount Juliet Christian. The last couple of years, part of LeBron Ferguson's staff at Providence Christian Academy. I think we both can say, I think Lindsay can attest to this as well. One of the wildest football games we were a part of last year was in the D2 single A playoffs between Friendship Christian and PCA. A cold night at MTSU. That was a wild game, that double overtime. I got to ask you, you mentioned sitting in the booth. Just some memories of that game. Obviously, your team comes out ahead. Just some memories of that night to stick out to you.
Man, those memories are it's gonna last because some of the kids still talk about it all the time, man. And just going the back and forth, because the year before it was a back and forth game, a high scoring game the year before. But that last year's game, man, it was instant classic. You know, the old ESPN instant classics. That's exactly what that was, man.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned, obviously he has stepped back in his role now as PCA head football coach. Couldn't ask for a better guy to work for than LeBron Ferguson.
Yes.
Really one of the good guys in the mid-state. And for you guys to have that success last year was really well-deserved to go on to a semifinal appearance last year in the playoffs.
Yes, man, great guy. Actually, I talk to Coach Ferguson all the time still, man. One of the best dudes you ever do. Just not even just football coaches, great football coach, but just one of the best guys you could just ever meet, man.
Yeah, now heading into your first season with MJCA, getting to know Coach Rittenauer over the last couple months, what's your impression of him? Obviously, he takes over for Dan Davis, who had been with the program for 12 years.
Yes.
What is your first impressions of him, and what makes him the right man to lead this program moving forward, and the guy you want to work for?
Well, first of all, he's a godly man, man. First and foremost, man. Second of all, he's one of those guys that cuts right to the chase. No nonsense guy, man, and we kind of take that same personality. And like I said, it bleeds on to the kids, man. We got a good group of guys, man.
You have to ask you, obviously, as a defensive coordinator, you're going to want to put your style and your imprint on the team. When it comes to defensively, obviously you have guys like Jonah and Thatcher who are going to be a big part of this and what you scheme up. What is one imprint, DNA kind of mantra that you have that if we're going to win football games, if we're going to compete, we're doing this well?
We have to play physical. It starts up front, and that starts with Thatcher way up at the front. And our linebacker core is really, really good, too, with Dylan Flatt, like I had before, Jonah Kleinman, like I had, and Thatcher. And then we got a couple other guys with depth-wise. Really want to be physical. That's what we want to be. We want to play fast. We want to play physical.
And Coach mentioned that when you look at your landscape of your middle region, there are physical teams in that region.
Yes.
Obviously, when you have National Christian, who's won back-to-back state championships with Coach Brothers, you look in county, Friendship Christian, Coach McNeil talked about it yesterday. He wanted to be an offensive line, defensive line oriented program, and that leads to success to other places. You mentioned Thatcher. You got to know him over the last couple of months and work with him. He was one of the leaders in the middle region last year when it comes to sacks. Over 50 tackles, over 15 tackles for loss, and getting to know him, what do you think allows him to be so successful and do those kind of things? And hopefully, how do you take his game to the next level this year?
Well, we allow Thatcher to be himself, man. Not only on the field, but off the field, man. He's just a great human being, man. And we just allow him to be himself. I watched some of his film from last year, and picked up on that, and then we just want to build on that. And the way our defense is, it fits him perfectly. We're a real attacking defense, so it fits him with exactly what he does. So everything's going to fit in place.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jonah as well. I don't want to leave him out. Over 60 tackles last year.
Yes.
So it's nice when I talked to Coach about this as well. The one thing that you can't teach with high school football is experience.
Right.
And those guys have played a ton of snaps on Friday night that will allow them to do the things that you want to do. You mentioned that linebacking core with Dylan, but Jonah's going to be strong. Jonah seems like he's really going to be the one that anchors that, though.
Yes, he communicates. Him and Dylan, they both communicate. Sometimes I don't even have to say a lot of things because they already say what I'm thinking. That's what you want in that short amount of time. That's huge already. So, and those guys feed off of those three guys. They feed off of them just as leaders.
Yeah, obviously with Coach Rittenauer coming in, a breath of fresh air per se. Your first year, a breath of fresh air into the program. A lot of good things going on the campus of MJCA right now.
Yes.
Coach kind of mentioned, obviously, this spring you guys break ground on a $2.5 million facility.
Yes.
That's going to do a lot of things to promote the team and hopefully grow the program moving forward. What excites you about that facility? And obviously, you're going to put it to use as well.
Oh yeah, we're gonna put it to use immediately. As soon as everything gets built, man, we're going to work on it. And like I say, it's going to entice a lot of more people to come and check out our campus. Hey, they spent all this money. It's like, hey, if we're putting this money into our program, hey, they're going to pour into us as well as a student body as well. So,
yeah, Coach mentioned, obviously, you mentioned as well, just off air, 18 players right now on your roster,
yes.
looking to grow that. It's kind of been reported that you guys are looking for a co-op agreement with Republic. What does that look like for you, though, as a balance as a defensive coordinator? Obviously, you have your guys that you're working with now in-house. Republic potentially bring in some more as well. How do you kind of make that all work and gel from your defensive coordinator spot?
Well, first, we want to make them feel comfortable. As soon as they get in, we want to make them like, hey, you're going to be loved. You're going to be coached hard, but hey, we're also going to have fun while we're doing this too. So we just want to make sure they're comfortable, establish depth. Best players are going to be on the field, no matter what grade, no matter what position. Best players are going to play on the field. And we got to let them know they're going to have to earn everything they get to.
Kind of diving into your schedule. Last year, obviously not a part of this program. They were World Warriors to start the year. They started at Joe Burns, at Concord Christian. That flips this year. You guys going to be sitting at home in your bed the first 2 weeks of the season as you just kind of prepared and started looking ahead to August 21st when you host Joe Burns in your season opener. What are kind of some things that you're looking to get in place as you start to watch film and prep for them?
Oh, well, we're trying to get our system into place. Like I said, this is a brand new staff. I know linebacker coach AJ O'Neal, Sean Ponder, defensive back coach, Tony Johnson, defensive line coach. We're just trying to put our stamp into everything so they can just play fast so they won't have to think. So we just want to play fast, want to play physical, and so we can we can be ready for week one.
We talked off air. We were talking about PCA and just your time there. A school in Murfreesboro, Christian school as well, private school. Seems like the opportunities are limitless down there and what it can be. The same can be said about Mount Juliet Christian Academy.
Absolutely.
Obviously, in a growing area of Wilson County and Mount Juliet, new facilities, new staff. It feels like the possibilities are endless if you guys hit on this thing right. And it feels like talking to Coach and yourself as well, it feels like they have the right guys to lead this thing moving forward.
Yes, I really think we do, man. And like I said, I know some of the people from Mount Juliet Christian before, because during my first couple years there at PCA, they did a lot of things together with scrimmage, and we actually played against them before too. So it's a great community. Like I said, I've been around here before, so it's just a great community, man. We just want to try to put our stamp and just build. We want to build, so we know everybody. We want to let everybody know, hey, we're here. We want everybody to fall in line and want everybody to have our backs.
We've mentioned Jonah, we mentioned Thatcher, we mentioned Dylan. Maybe a guy on the team just overall, and I asked Coach Rittenauer this question as well, a guy that's not being talked about throughout the media right now who week 7, week 8, you're going to be like, this guy right here who's not being talked about right now is going to make a play for us when it matters most.
I'm going to say his name right now. His name is Braden Pickleton. I think coaches might have mentioned him before. He's a linebacker, just came on. He's an old school thumper. He's one of our linebackers.
You got to love that, right?
I love it. His first day, he's been itching to hit somebody. He even hits us at practice, which is hilarious. But I love it, man. You have to have somebody that's going to set the tone. You want a thumper. So he's gonna make a couple plays for us.
Coach, well, we really appreciate you hanging out with us. Obviously, enjoy having the boys around and enjoy having Coach Rittenauer out, which is a festive day. Appreciate you being a part of this.
All right, thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
really
sir.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna take a commercial break. Right after this, we're gonna talk to my coworker. He's in the house. Blaine Keller is gonna join us right after this. Stay with us.
What? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. Continuing our Mount Juliet Christian Academy segment here, that's brought to you by Legacy Athletic Fund, a sports-focused nonprofit dedicated to athlete development, character building, and promoting healthy lifestyles through education and community engagement. Joined by a good friend of mine, he is repaying a debt that is long due.
A year-long debt.
A year-long debt. Last year, when Sumner County Media Days was going on at Birdie Bros in Hendersonville, I got called in to pitch hit action, and I was glad to do that for Blaine, a good friend of mine. And Blaine is pitch hitting for me as we close out this MJCA hour. Blaine, appreciate you being here and doing it.
Glad to talk a little bit of what little I know about Wilson County football, and hoping to give a little get to know your enemy for these Wilson County teams as they go up against Sumner County foes this
I was gonna say that is really your main role right now, is get to know your enemy. We're going to have Green Hill coming up here at the top of the hour. Head coach Josh Crouch is going to be waiting in the wings. He's a team that obviously is coming off a great year last year. Some Sumner County flavor to start the year, obviously going to Beach at Shackle Island. Also going to play some Williamson County teams that you got to know this past weekend for their media day down in the Franklin area. They're going to have Centennial come in there as well. They're going to have a trip to Page in week 2. They're also going to face Ravenwood, who was a state finalist last year, kind of a murderer's row to start the season. First off, start off with Page, who they're going to see in their season opener. You learned a lot about the Bucks and Coach Crabtree a couple weeks ago for Sumner County Media Day. What do we have to look forward in store for that game, which is going to be a good matchup to start off the year?
That season opener with Beach, and this is kind of the theme for a lot of the teams that I think Green Hill will face, is that it's a different look this year. For the Buccaneers, you can expect them, surprise, surprise, to throw the ball a little bit more. Traditionally a run-based team. They have some options back in the backfield, but Jeremy Laster, a 4-star wide receiver prospect. They've got some talented sophomores that could make plays on the outside this year as well. And then they've got the senior quarterback that can sling it in Sawyer Phillips. He fought for playing time with Caden Powell a year ago. Now has the starting role in his final season. So a different look there. It's still going to be a successful Beach Buccaneers team.
You know, I was kind of joking with Trey Perry about this. Obviously, they're going to be Beach's second week opponent, also on Shackle Island at the end of August. He kind of joked, man, obviously Green Hill gets a little lucky with DK Williams being suspended for game 1. He's going to be having some pent-up aggression and ready to go. Obviously, one of the better linebackers in the state. Mount Juliet's going to get a taste of him in week 2. What is Green Hill missing in week 1, and what is Mount Juliet going to be facing in that second week?
He's a guy that obviously has a ton of talent at the linebacker position, but a lot's going to be asked from him this year when it comes to playing running back. Shelton Swafford was the lead tailback last year, went on to East Tennessee State. DK is somebody they like to play on both sides because he's physical, he's tough. He's willing to do that on both sides. He just about broke his body going through the playoffs last year to fulfill both of those roles. So might be a good thing to be without him for a week. They've also got some talented linebackers in his place, though. Maverick Hanks is somebody who really impressed in his first full year starting a year ago.
It's kind of crazy to mention when you look at Beach and just kind of reading some of your preview work that is set to come out over the next couple weeks, obviously in the Sumner County Football Magazine as well. It's kind of crazy to think that you lose a Division I offensive lineman and the unit still kind of gets stronger.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. There's a lot of talent on that Bucks offensive line, which, you know, John McNeil mentioned for Friendship Christian. We want to be an offensive line, defensive line oriented program. Just knowing Coach Crabtree and kind of the way he operates with the physicality that they have, that's another program that wants to be O-line, D-line centered.
I think that's what can make this Beach team really successful this year, is a lot of times you run into one or the other. We have a lot of skilled players back, or we have our offensive line back. And I'm sure you've run into that this week, hearing these Wilson County teams talk about their season. Beach is interesting in the fact that they have both. It's a rarity to have that many players come back. Lost a really good offensive lineman in Jack Fuchs, who's a Northwestern signee, 4-star prospect in his own right. But they've got 4 or 5 guys coming back on the line, and they've got some really, really good skill players.
Yeah, before we get into a commercial break really quickly, as we wait for Green Hill coach Josh Crouch to make an appearance here. He's on the way, everybody. I know he is the man around here. I got to ask you, we mentioned Green Hill's run of Williamson County opponents 3 straight weeks after they play Beach to start the year. Obviously, week 2, they go to Page, defending state champions. You covered them last year. They finally break through, win state with Coach Rathbone, hosting in their home opener. What an opponent. Ravenwood coming to town with Coach Rodriguez, and then closing that run out with Centennial, a new coach that obviously you have experience with in the past from your time in Robertson County. You spent time with each of those teams last week. Really quickly, starting with Page, hit on some things that we can look forward to from those groups.
Returning quarterback in Cameron Cruzy, CPA transfer on the outside in Dylan Streeter. They've got some guys as well returning at the receiver spots. Isaac Ote is their lead tailback. This is a team that has not traditionally had their quarterback back in the past. When we talk about these finals runs that Page has made, now they have the opportunity to have a Kansas State commitment back for his senior year. It should be an exciting one for the Patriots and Coach Rathbone.
And then for Ravenwood going into week 3, something that Green Hill is going to experience is a quarterback change for the first time in a couple years. Obviously, they're going to be without Kenan Burrows, who's gone on to UT Martin. We'll talk to Coach Crouch specifically that in a minute. Obviously, Ravenwood had an embarrassment of riches last year. Not one Division I quarterback, but 2, obviously, with Femi Babalola and Maverick Chance. Quarterback position-wise, it feels like they're in good shape, though. Coach Rodriguez has found his guy.
Yeah, he already said that Brooks Brown has earned the right to be Ravenwood's starting quarterback. The Lipscomb Academy transfer and son of younger brother, of Lipscomb Academy quarterback, Iowa quarterback Hank Brown. A really impressive guy already. Going into his junior year, he holds an offer from Vanderbilt with a few other schools in that mix as well.
And then rounding out that slate, Centennial, obviously, Coach Broderick, you had experience with that at White House Heritage. You also had experience with him last year as the DC under first-year coach then, Rock Batten and JP2. What schematically, obviously, you got to know about them a little bit, is he going to provide for that Centennial team that returns from quality pieces from last year's team?
Yeah, I think Chad can't get away from me. We followed each other at a few routes here, and it was fun seeing him again at Williamson County Media Days. He's really, outside of schematics, praised his senior class for buying into another new staff after they've had a string of head coaches in the last few years. They had Jamal Stewart. They had Jay Graham, then had a coaching change in midseason after Graham was dismissed. Now moving on to Chad Broderick, a defensive guy who is taking on defensive responsibilities this year. That's something he emphasized in Williamson County Media Days, but that wasn't something he spent as much time with in his previous head coaching stops. Now he's making a point of it, wanting to make sure that he is hands-on with his defense and making sure that the Cougars can succeed on that side of the ball.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll stop right there. Really good stuff on the Williamson County teams. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Producer Mark is looking at me a little crazy. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Coming up, we'll talk about a team that all the Wilson County teams are going to have to get ready for in Region 4-6A. That's the Gallatin Green Wave. We'll get Blaine's thoughts on them right after this commercial break. Stay with us.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes, so twice a year we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
Welcome back into Wilson County Media Day here at Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee. Rejoined now by co-worker Blaine Keller as we wrap up the Mount Juliet Christian Hour that was brought to you by Legacy Athletic Fund. Blaine, we kind of mentioned going to break, a team that this whole county, particularly in Region 4-6A, is going to get to know this season is obviously the Gallatin Green Wave. Kind of give me your thoughts of them as you had Sumner County Media Days a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, another new looking team a little bit, especially at the quarterback position. Jackson Straub, who is the 3rd all-time leading passer in Sumner County history. He has graduated and went on to Lindsey Wilson College Replacing him is sophomore Landry Roddy. This Green Wave team will rely on its defense primarily, though, with a couple of key talents in there. Jason York had a strong end to last season. Preston Mooney was a key player on the edges for Gallatin. I'll tell you, David, one thing I'm really interested in seeing that Coach Michael Strout mentioned throughout the year and throughout the spring and summer was that they're looking to get guys to play one way and one way only. When you hear that, you don't see that in Sumner County. Guys play two ways traditionally, and that's maybe something you see in Oakland in the 6A program. The guys play one way. They play offense or defense. Ravenwood, we go back to the Williamson County conversation we had. Coach Ricky Rodriguez is on the opposite side of that. He said, we're starting to get guys to play both ways again. We want guys to play two ways. So I'm interested to see how that experiment turns out in getting every single player on Gallatin's roster to play offense or defense for this upcoming season.
Well, had Coach Richardson on my mind, Blaine.
They don't want me to be a coach.
Probably not. Really appreciate you stepping in as we kind of bridge the gap. Obviously, Michelle Plummer is sitting and waiting in the wings to kick off this Green Hill segment. Appreciate you doing this, and obviously we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, David.
All right, we're going to go to commercial break. She's waiting patiently on the on-deck circle, undefeated in her run as an assistant basketball coach, but we best know her from her time on the volleyball court. Green Hill volleyball coach Michelle Plummer. She's on deck next right after this. Stay tuned.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes as well as our local community, which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, the site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. Kicking off the final hour of our show over this course of the 3-day period and starting the Green Hill Hour, there is not a better person that I could think of to start off than with Green Hill volleyball coach Michelle Plummer. Obviously one of the best ones to do it in the county, the better ones to do it in the mid-state, and also undefeated run as an assistant basketball coach last year for the, I guess, the sectional team for the Hawks.
Yes.
I know that's something on the resume you love to kind of mention.
Oh, yes. My one game stint as a basketball coach,
There you
but
go.
it was so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah, I have to ask you, just recapping last year, what a phenomenal senior class that you had. Obviously 4 young ladies that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. 28-5 run. You had an undefeated season through the regular season district play, win a district championship, runner-up in a region, make another sectional. I know that's a program accomplishment. I think it was the highest single season winning percentage in program history. I know that was a team, and particularly a senior class, you were really proud of.
Oh, yeah. Those 4 seniors really led our team last year. They're going to be missed this year. So hopefully we have some new seniors that will step in and fill those roles.
Yeah, 2 of those young ladies, obviously Ivy Lytle going on to shorter.
She's actually going to play at Bellarmine in Louisville.
Okay,
D1
so she
school.
switched it up on us.
She did.
Okay,
she
there we go.
decommitted and then signed with Bellarmine.
Man, I don't know who the sports writer is. He's got to get better at his job, right?
It's okay. We'll keep it on your
Jordan
toes.
Moore, also one that is going on to play at that level. What particularly, obviously, Chloe Carter, one of the best setters in school history. I know you can't say enough of good things about that group.
Yeah, they're a fantastic group. 2 of the 4 are going on to play in college. All 4 could have if they wanted to. Just really, really good at their positions.
As we turn the page and get ready for this upcoming fall, obviously you spend a lot of time with the group throughout camp and things like that. Obviously, you mentioned those 4 that you're going to have to replace some time for. Obviously, some key returners as well. Who are some new faces, though, that we do not know yet that we can look forward to see, kind of whet our appetite a little bit?
Our junior class has some great girls in them. Taylor Osborne, I think, is going to be a really pivotal player for us this year, probably playing outside and right side. So she will be fun upcoming to watch. Our defensive position, Abby, we lost Abby. So somebody has to fill that role. So we're going to be looking to somebody else. We've got seniors, Emma Savage, Key Burns, and Abby Marshall as a junior, potentially to fill that libero position.
I enjoyed talking to you at the beginning of last year. Obviously, every summer you guys do book club.
We
read a
do.
book together. I enjoyed talking about that with you last year. Tell us what's been on the reading agenda for the girls.
We are currently reading Legacy by James Kerr. It's about the New Zealand rugby team, but it's about leadership, legacy, what you want to lead your program as, and what you want your program to be known as.
You texted me a couple weeks ago. I told John Stevens this when he came and stopped by. I said, watch out, Michelle's already saying you guys are going to be tough this year. Obviously, when you add a coach like that to the caliber of your district that is already really good,
Yeah.
I know that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be exciting for you guys to prepare for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a fantastic coach. Mount Juliet has the players. We attended UTC team camp this year, and we joked that Wilson County made up most of the teams. Friendship was there. Wilson Central, Mount Juliet, us. So we got to see a lot of our teams and play some games against them. But he's a great coach, and they have a lot of talent over there.
You know, I'm going to compare your team to the football team that's going to walk in here eventually with Coach Crouch. Kind of similar trajectories, you know, good regular season teams. For them, last year the goal was to make some noise in the postseason, and they were able to do that, make a run to the quarterfinals. Your team has made some postseason noise over the last couple of years. You know, not gotten over to the hump to make the state tournament. I know that is something that's squarely on this team's mind moving forward. When you run into Williamson County, it's always tough. I know you're up for the challenge, and I know that's something that you guys are looking forward to try to get over yet again.
Yeah, unfortunately, we run into Williamson County in the sectionals, but it's what it is, and we just prepare our best, and hopefully one of these years we're able to surprise somebody and knock a team out.
You know, I sent you a text earlier in the summer. I was probably more excited than you are, and that's probably a lot to say. The TLSLA has mentioned, and I asked Coach Stevens this as well, making boys volleyball an emerging sport. Obviously, Green Hill is a part of that, and I know that's something that's close to your heart as well. How needed is it for boys volleyball to be a sport that has state championship opportunities and allow young men who are, you know, maybe not doing necessary things in the spring to allow them to do something else and to be a part of a team sport that obviously means so much to you?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's one of the largest growing sports for boys, and Green Hill has been led by some people that have really pushed it at the state level, the Stevens family. And we've had a club team for the last couple of years. They won state. They were runners up in state. So I believe it will be an emerging sport soon, and then they will get full TSSAA eligibility.
Yeah, last thing, I'll let you go. I know you have some family obligations to have right here. It's hard to believe that it's been 7 years now that Green Hill has been open. Time absolutely flies by. What was something that you know, when you walked in the door that first year, that's, you know, till now, something that's been, I guess, essential for you guys to build the program that you kind of be and really become kind of the standard in Wilson County that other teams look for? And just talking to them, they point to you guys, you know, and a lot of sports, whether it's volleyball, whether it's football, whether it's softball with Coach Sanders, a lot of programs point to you guys and say, we want to emulate what they do.
I think most of the coaches at Green Hill, we all had the similar goals. Players' talent comes and goes from years, but we wanted to set the standard of the culture of our program, take our responsibility of the influence we have over, you know, young student athletes' lives. And at the end of the day, that's most important. Every coach coaches to win. Otherwise, why are you coaching? So there's so much more that goes into running a program and the culture of it. And I think that just elevating that has helped a lot of programs be successful at Green Hill.
Well, Coach Fulmer, we really appreciate you taking part of your Wednesday afternoon to hang out with us.
Thanks for having
preview
me.
the upcoming fall. On deck, he's here. He's ready to go in his camouflage hat. Seventh-year football coach Josh Crouch is waiting on the on-deck circle. We will talk to him next right here on Wilson County Media Day. Stay with us.
Hello? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
When I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. Continuing our Green Hill episode here as we wrap up Media Days over this 3-day event. Pleased to be joined now by 7th-year head coach. It's kind of hard to say. I was talking to Michelle. It's crazy how fast the time goes by. 7th-year head coach Josh Crouch and Hotz. Coach, appreciate you being here.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the invite, and thanks for putting this on for the county.
Yeah, I got to ask you, at this point last year, we were talking about a completely different thing that we're going to talk about this year. Last year, we talked about just a ton over the last 3 or 4 years of regular season success for this program, trying to get over the hump in the playoffs. And you guys were ultimately able to do that last year, make a run all the way to the quarterfinals of the Class 6A playoffs. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody played Oakland better than you guys did last year. Obviously, a senior class and a team overall that meant a lot to you. As you've kind of reflected over that over the last couple months and after the season ended, I know that's something that you guys really are appreciative of and thankful for that group.
Yeah, in 23, we go on a run and go to the semifinals. And, as a young coach, I'm in my 3rd year as a head coach. And first time really dealing with success, everything was the next week, the next game film. Friday nights, I was immediately right back into, the next opponent. Last year, because those teams are few and far between each other, I savored every moment of it. I mean, we were winning games on Friday nights, and then we were hanging out with families on Friday nights at wherever Jonathan's, or we would go Saturday mornings and watch college football with the guys, and we would really be more intentional with the time that we had with that group. And we've got really close relationships with a lot of them. A lot of them are going on. Cannon's getting first team reps right now at UT Martin's, getting some looks up there, and Ameza reported last week. Ethan's in college. We've got a lot of kids that are working out and running. Mike Palmer goes next week, so it's a large group. TJ's FaceTimed him yesterday. Got to talk to him a little bit, so it was a very close group. But I would say last year was the first time in my career that I could sit back and just really appreciate the time, what the kids were. We were very I think personable in practice. We were smart when we practiced. And we knew that Fridays was the most important time, just getting them healthy and getting them to the games.
Yeah, I mentioned this to Michelle as well. Obviously, with the success that she's had in volleyball, the success that Cody had last year with girls basketball, obviously what Savannah Sanders is able to do with the softball team. In a lot of different sports, people have kind of pinpointed you guys as the standard in Wilson County. And I know that's something that you take immense pride in, just what you're able to do within the county. You've won 9 straight games against in-county opponents. I believe it's been since October of 2022 that you've lost a team from the county. It's just once to Mount Juliet. Just kind of talk about the pride of being the staple of Wilson County. Obviously, young boys at a small age come to the Hill on Friday nights and watch guys like Cannon Burrows, Will Butler, Zach Cartwright that we're going to talk to in a little bit. They want to be those guys when they grow up, and it seems like you've become really the team that they look forward to seeing.
Yeah, I think our atmosphere is a little unique. Even, Miss Rutledge right there taking photos and seeing her sons grow up as Hawks and playing in the youth league. And then this is the first year that we've seen kids in 8U start with us when Jeremy Minchie and Alicia Minchie started our youth program. We now have their son Mason, who's a senior. We've also got kids that started in 8U that are now freshmen, like Ben Lamb and Bo Hoekstra. And you're seeing kids when they're 12, 8 years old playing, for the Green and Green, and then now they're freshmen and now they're rotating through our program, and thankful for them. But when you talk about Green Hill High School and our athletics, even when Troy Allen started it, I think he was kind of the staple for us to show us how to get it done. Sheree Abner, same way when she was there to help get us started. But, what Nate has continued to do in basketball when Troy left has been exceptional. Justin has come in and provided a solid program with baseball. But as far as athletics go, I think we all really lived off EJ Wood. I think EJ really showed us how to all work together, how to be a great athletic director, how to really pull in the same direction. And then another person that I feel like really is the staple for us is Christian Capozzi. I think, seeing him and that group all together, we all today we're in service and all the head coaches go out to dinner, to lunch together. So it's a very unique spot. We've been in places where, football kids don't play basketball and baseball kids don't play football. And it's not that way at Green Hill. We try to be as many kids that can be good stewards for our program. We want that at Green Hill.
Yeah, as we kind of transition to this upcoming fall, what we can expect from you guys, I'm going to start probably in a place that you probably wouldn't think I would. When you replace 5 offensive linemen up front, and particularly the talent that you guys up front last year, obviously led by Ethan Harris, has obviously gone on to Davidson. You're going to have 5 new starters up there in front. What is it like, obviously, kind of talking to Coach Gentry, Coach Perry, Coach Kniffel, looking at your region? It's won and lost in the trenches, particularly in Class 6A. How do you guys kind of rebuild there and prepare for a quarterback situation that we're going to talk about in a little bit?
Well, first off, I would say the thing that we have that a lot of places don't have is Trey Eric. Trey is one of the best football coaches, I think, that I've ever been around. He's a head coach in the past, head coach at Beach and Portland and at Wilson Central. And as far as like a developer of men and a relationship builder, there's not a better offensive line coach or somebody that really pours into those guys. So schematically, I know we're going to be good because we're in his hands. Also, the second part of that is Zach White is very inclusive to us at Green Hill High School. And as coaches, I feel like that we have a group of men that really love the game of football. They love the game of trying to get men going and producing the right way. And so starting with those guys, I think what we have coaching wise is pretty, impeccable. But, even out of those 5 last year, our starting center, Wesley Murray, was in my visual art class his first year. Had never played football before. And his sophomore year decided to come out and then started, 32 games for us or whatever. So, I think I've got a lot of trust in our coaches and being able to mold those guys. But like you said, when you look left from right, you got Ethan Harris, the Division I signee. You got Gavin Euler, who was an NAIA signee. You got Wesley in the middle, who started for us for 2 years. Ronan McNamara, who was our 2-year captain, and then Devin Ryder, who was,
it doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, that is an elite high school football offensive line, and then you lose all of them, and the only hope that you have is that your JV and that your coaching and that your development is replacing that. But we're not replacing the size of man. So it's going to be a little bit younger, but it's a group that's working really hard and one that we've put a lot on. But, like I said, as long as Trey Eric is on our staff, I feel good about those guys up front.
Not a rah-rah guy per se, but you couldn't ask for a better leader from commanding a huddle and leading a football team. Obviously, than your quarterback last year in Cannon Burrows, one of just the overall excellent football player, probably even the better person, and that says a lot about him. Obviously, a 3-year starter who's now gone on to UT Martin, as you kind of mentioned, probably destined to do great things is there as well. Kind of talk about the loss of him, and now obviously some younger guys that are going to have to step in and learn the ropes of a talented, group.
Yeah, so I was at home last night and got a group chat, and Jamal Stewart, one of my good buddies, was texting me, and it was about 9:30 last night, and he was watching our beach game, and the only thing he put was Burrows is a man. And I think that's how you kind of summarize him ultimately is, he's an ultimate competitor. He was very quiet. His first game as a sophomore, not many people know this, but he threw his first interception on his very first pass in high school football. So there's nowhere else he could go but up from there. And I remember looking on the sideline, he had tears in his eyes after that first pass. And, the moment was big for him, but, he settled in. So I think we're going to have a similar situation this year. We're going to have to make Cannon out of a couple of people. He could run it, he could throw it, he could get us in checks. And now we've got a couple of guys that are handling that position. And, you may see a multitude of people take direct snaps or line up under center and shotgun. And, it's going to be hard to replace Cannon. I think maybe one day when we look back in 20 years, maybe nobody will wear 18 one day. So it may be a retired number for what he did and what he is going to continue to do in the next level.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to talk to you at the Tennessee Titans High School Media Day at Nissan Stadium. You kind of mentioned, obviously, Seth Frankenfield is going to be a guy that factors back there as well. Brady Coleman as well. Guys that are talented but do things, I guess, differently, special per se. Obviously, Seth, you mentioned, then more of an accomplished passer. Brady, more of a runner. How do you kind of balance that, their rep loads early in the season? You mentioned then really the way your schedule's worked out with the region games at the back end of the schedule, not region games first. It allows you to give you some runway to experiment and allow those guys to grow into a role and somebody to claim a job.
Yeah, so, when we first made the schedule last year, we knew that we had those 37 seniors. It was hard to finalize games, and we're trying to, compete at a high level. And I think we had our back to ball last night, and every single head coach was talking about what the importance of competition, being faced with adversity early on in the season. And that way, you're kind of challenged at the end. We knew the second year we were going to be replacing a lot of talent, and this team was going to be young for that first, 4 games going to be important. And then first region games, Gallatin High School, which is, a great football program in itself. So, for us, when we're looking at the quarterback position, right now we've got Seth, who works with Max on the weekend at our place, Staver, who runs QB Vision. And as far as throwing the football with arm talent, is head and shoulders at this time than where Cannon was. Wow. Elite arm talent. He has the moxie to think that he can throw a football through a needle hole. And, that's going to come, but I think of it kind of like a Brett Favre-ish thing. You're going to have to live with some mistakes where he's trying to fit the ball into places, but you can't take away the confidence of him feeling like he can make that throw. So, there may be some learning things with him when the game speeds up in 6A football. But as far as the next 3 years go, he's going to be somebody that's going to be real high up on a lot of people's radars. And I think that, we've shown that we can get some kids to the next level. I think he's going to be that next one. Brady Coleman in our spring game this offseason threw a touchdown pass, caught a touchdown pass, had an interception, and then also not an interception thrown, a caught interception at safety, and then also had 2 tackles for loss and had a pass breakup. So as far as what I think of when I played football, those guys that are just football players, that's Brady Coleman, and he's an ultimate competitor. He's going to win football games. You could tell him to play right guard, and he would do it to the best of his ability. So we got 2 guys back there that are really an ultimate, like competitor in that position. And then I wouldn't be surprised if you see Zach Cartwright or Will Butler back there as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned those two names. I've held off not talking about them enough because they're special talents. And as we mentioned with a lot of players in your program, special human beings as well. Obviously, Zach is going to have an opportunity to go play Division I football next year. Will just made his commitment to Marshall. You have two other guys over there as well that we're going to talk to soon. Feel free to talk about those guys as well. But when it comes to leaders of a program, you couldn't ask for better guys to look to as captains who've been a part of the winning than Will Butler and Zach Cartwright.
Yeah, and our number 20 this year got voted on by our team is going to be Evan Buckner. His brother played for us in 2020 was Cooper Buckner, and I've watched Evan grow up. I mean, I'm 7 years old. I've seen him running around out here at football games. I've watched his little sister go from, in baby carriages, it seems like, to now grow up as a Green Hill High School football player. But Evan is going to be our team captain. But when you look at our four players, Evan is the least experienced special teams player. But for our team to vote Evan as our team captain shows him great in the classroom, great teammate, somebody always looks up to. He's going to do things the right way. He's going to set the standard in the classroom and in the weight room. He's going to do everything right. And then you look at the three guys that are also our captains, Zach Cartwright, who is going to be the guy for us on offense, 3,000 yards in high school football, and ultimately probably could be around 4,000 or 5,000 if we weren't trying to save him as much over the last couple of years. But he's going to be the guy on the back end. And then Will Butler is started for us as a freshman at Riverdale his freshman year. Probably wasn't ready, but got thrown into it. Another guy you've seen him run a lot of football games. And then Miles Harden is a 3-year starter on the defensive line for us. And those guys are going to be our captains. But as far as leadership goes, our team is kind of it's a bunch of guys that look in the mirror that pull each other the same direction. So we don't really have to worry about the leadership part of it. It's more of the belief and knowing that we can achieve at a high standard.
Yeah, two more things. I'm going to let you go and enjoy your night and hang out with some people that have kind of gathered here to support you guys. Defensively, obviously, we talked about the offensive side of football. Obviously, Will is the Swiss Army knife that can make things happen. Obviously, you mentioned Miles as well. We're replacing some pieces as well. Obviously, Omeza, obviously going on Army, a centerpiece at that linebacking core, several others that played quality football. You mentioned Mike Palmer. The way he kind of locked down, per se, Joel Wyatt last year against Oakland in the playoffs for his size and his speed. Can't say enough about the kind of player he was. You mentioned TJ Buchanan as well. Who are some new faces that are going to emerge on that defense that we can get to look forward to seeing on Friday nights?
Yeah, King Wright started for us as a freshman last year, 14 years old, and had 4 interceptions, I think, and a bunch of tackles. Against Page, it was his first game starting. I think he ended up with 15 tackles against Page. So King is going to be our Mike Palmer this year. Mike was – I still tell King he's not Mike yet. Mike is by far the best corner I have ever coached. Period. So you don't see many of those often. And then another guy that we have gotten in is Charlie Neal. Phenomenal football. Will Butler, same player, same kind of ability. And the guy that I think a lot of people don't know the name of yet is Andrew Englehart. He's going to be our Luke Parton tight end linebacker, but Andrew runs the ball physical. One of the hardest runners of the football that we have is going to really get those ugly yards, and then also play outside backer, play tight end, and is one of the better football players that we've been around at Green Hill High School. So he's the name to look at. And then on the back end, you've got Will, you've got Charlie, and then you've got Brady Coleman, and then Kale Loudermilk has come on really hard, really big this year, and has provided a consistency, a level-headedness, and somebody that has been a pleasure. And then we've got 2 basketball players out at corner. We still got one more position at corner that's kind of we're trying to figure out right now, but the competition has been high. Our corners coach, Coach Cam, has been a world changer for us on that back end with Davion Moore coming off of the basketball court. And we've got Xavion Houston that's come over, Santi Romo, and then Kale also is playing a little bit of corner.
Yeah, last thing, obviously, you know the talent that is within your region. Obviously, if you're going to win the region, you got to win Wilson County. But then you add in Gallatin, as you mentioned, the respect that you have for them. Cookeville, a well-respected program in the Mid-State as well. When you kind of look at, I guess, the logistics and the map of the region, where do you feel like it can be won or lost this year for you guys, or just anybody overall?
Yeah, I think we're all pretty similar in a sense. And I know there's I think for us, a lot of people are kind of expecting a little bit of a lay down, and I like where we're at right now. I'm really excited. This is the first time that I've went into an off season being able to coach again. So I've been really thankful to Coach Clemens for allowing me to step back into a position group and get that itch back in. But man, I think surprise is going to be a little bit of what you'll see from us this year. I think a lot of people are expecting us to take a little bit of a dip, and maybe in the cards. But I think as far as our region goes, I'm optimistic at our opportunities that we have. I'm optimistic in the kids and how they've been working. And as far as our region goes, like you talked about, I think the team that people don't talk about enough is Cookeville High School. Coach Hennigan is a good friend of mine and does a great job. But Coach Gentry and Coach Perry obviously have two really, really good football teams that are coming back. Gian is, and I watched Coach G's conversation with you as well, and he knows too. There's 2 or 3 plays that game goes differently, and we may be hosting Riverdale instead of hosting Smyrna. So, and they've always been good. It's always been a tight game with us, and you mentioned in 2022's Mount Juliet was the last one that beat us, but that team that they've got, that sophomore class that they've got is as impressive as a group that I've ever seen in our county before. So all of our region is going to be competitive. I'm excited for Josh at Wilson Central. I think he's doing some really good things, and knowing as well as I know Savannah, working with her, very close with her as a head coach in our building. I think Josh is going to do great things. So we've got a good thing in our county, and in doing this, I appreciate you putting the light on Wilson County, and there's some good football here.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Obviously, a wealth of knowledge. Good luck this season. Obviously, you'll see a lot of us throughout the fall. Best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you for Beach on August 21st. It's going to be here before you know it.
That's already here, man. We're ready to go.
All right. That's head coach Josh Crouch of the Green Hill Hawks. Coming up after this commercial break, they're waiting in the wings. We got a couple captains of the Green Hill football team set to join us right after this. Stay tuned.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. Which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
What? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. I'm the Wilson Post and Chronicle of Mount Juliet sports editor David Wilson. Joining me now are 4 captains you're going to see on the gridiron this fall on the hill for Green Hill and head coach Josh Crouch. Evan Buckner, Miles Harden, Zach Cartwright, and Marshall commitment now Will Butler. And Evan, I'm going to start with you. You're the one who plopped down with the microphone next to the chair. Coach Crouch kind of mentioned the pride that he has. Obviously, Green Hill founded in 2020, 7th season for this program. You're going to wear their number 20 this year. Obviously, that's something that means a lot to this program, obviously voted on by the players. Just kind of talk about the honor it has to wear that number when you take on Beach on August 21st.
Yes, sir. So obviously been a big deal for me. This is my 4th year here, and over the 3 years that I've been here, the person who wears number 20 represents a lot to our team. 2020 was a start. It's kind of the foundation of our organization, and that's what the number represents for us. So it was a big honor that the guys wanted me to wear it, and I'll wear it with pride.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously being in the program now for 4 years. Obviously with a lot of senior talent and junior talent, and just the talent the program has had overall for the last couple of years. Not the playing time that you probably would have wanted necessarily, but now your role is going to step up obviously this year with the graduation of a 40-man senior class that meant so much to this group. Kind of talk about the excitement you have of taking on an increased role on the field to show everybody what you can do.
Yeah, really excited to play some football this season, obviously. Spent a lot of time on special teams, doing the dirty work, hard practices and everything. Really excited to get some hours, make a big difference for our team, and do my 1 out of 11 every single play.
Yeah, I got to ask you, obviously, when you think about that 40-man senior class that has gone on and graduated, obviously several Division I commitments, guys that laid their imprint on their legacy on this program for years to come. Is there anybody in particular that really kind of took you under their wing last year and said, this is how you do things, this is how we can continue the foundation that we had?
Omeza Danian for me. He was always around. He was a big help for me. We played the same position. So whenever I needed help or some advice, he was always there to give me some information, and it made a big difference on my career.
Going to slide over now and talk to, I guess, newly minted Marshall commitment, Will Butler. I just have to ask you, obviously, a plethora of Division I offers throughout your recruiting process. First of all, how good does it feel now that weight is kind of lifted off your shoulders going into your senior season? Now you can just go spot the ball and go play football.
I mean, it's definitely nice not having to worry about where I'm going to be playing because I know I have a home at Marshall. I mean, just because I'm committed, though, doesn't mean high school's done. I mean, we got a season to prove here. Senior year still left.
Yeah, I got to ask you, you mentioned in your X post, Twitter post, whatever we call it nowadays, you mentioned why Marshall was home for you. For those who maybe not had the opportunity to read that or understand that, why was Marshall really the place that you could continue not only your athletic career, but grow as a person, obviously academically as well?
I mean, just from the moment I stepped on campus, I mean, we walked in, coaches were there ready to greet us immediately, welcomed me and my family, took our bags, carried our bags for us. The moment I went and met the players, hung out with them, I could just tell they were a tight-knit family. I mean, that's something I really enjoy and look forward to.
Yeah, I got to ask you, obviously you were the region's outside linebacker of the year last year. You were our Wilson Post, a defensive player of the year overall. Obviously you and Omeza really kind of spearheaded that defense. You do it all, whether it's tackles, interceptions, pass breakups, forced fumbles. We could go on and on. Not a basketball player per se, but you were the stat stuffer on that defense. What do you feel like allowed you to be so successful last year and have the year that you had?
I mean, a lot of it definitely comes down to our coaching and our just game plans every week. I get put in a really great position each week by our coaching staff to be able to make those plays. And then, I mean, it's a bunch of repetition and just film. You're able to pick up on the small details that lead you to be able to make those plays.
I got to ask you, Coach Crouch really relished last year and just the opportunity, the conversation around you guys, and I think you all heard it last year. Throughout your last 2 or 3 years, great regular season team. Had it kind of yet to prove it when it came to the postseason. I don't think you could have asked for a better season last year. Obviously, make it all the way to the quarterfinals. I don't know if anybody, and I mentioned this to Coach Crouch, played Oakland better than you guys did. I know you still think about that. Yeah. But just kind of talk about the pride that you guys have shown that Green Hill is definitely capable of being one of the better teams, not only in the mid-state, but the state overall.
I mean, it's definitely, we're very prideful with it. But, I mean, obviously, last year didn't end how we wanted it to. We had our chance with Oakland. We should have been able to finish out that game. We weren't able to. So, I mean, we definitely all still have a chip on our shoulder and want to prove something more this year.
Miles Harden is going to slide in here and join us. Appreciate you doing this. Obviously, I kind of mentioned just that senior class. I like that question on a roll with you. Obviously, there's so much to learn from that group. Maybe a guy that took you under their wing is like, this is how we continue the tradition. I mentioned this to Coach Crouch. You guys have kind of come the standard now of Wilson County. Everybody circles you on that calendar. Maybe a guy that kind of took you under their wing.
I mean, of course, it's Ethan Harris, the Davidson. He's there now. He was just a really big, I'd say, role model for me. Like, he told me what to do, right from wrong, and I'm just trying to model after him, to be honest. We've had a lot of young guys at D-line, so I'm trying to do what he did for me, try to be that helping hand, trying to tell him what's right and wrong, trying to help him with drills and everything like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, particularly with your region, 4-6A, and particularly Class 6A football overall, when you venture down into Murfreesboro and play teams like that in the playoffs, games are won or lost in the trenches, and obviously you're going to be a part of that. How can this team, obviously you lose some bodies from last year from seniors class, how do y'all kind of grow and allow that to be kind of the focus of this team where you guys can win those games in November when it matters most?
I mean, it's definitely be some growth. We've come a long way, and it's a really big change. Like, these past couple of years, we've been the biggest, the strongest, and every year we get better. But this year's very different. We have a lot of athletic guys. We have a lot of depth. We can change out, do a lot of schemes, especially with Coach Clemens. He can think of a lot of stuff up for us to do, and it all comes together, really, and it can help us win in the long run.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, as y'all's food gets ready to plop down, I see a bunch of chicken tenders over there that you guys are ready to attack. What is the biggest level of growth that you've seen from this team from the spring when you first started spring practice to now as you put on pads this week?
I see a lot of growth in connection with each other and a lot of growth in mental toughness and just our bodies in general. Coach Wyatt has a really good workout plan. They all help us with understanding things and bringing us together. We went to Wave Country not too long ago. That helped us as a team. And it's just growth in every way, really.
We're going to slide over and talk to Zach Cartwright, a first team all-county selection for us last year on our Wilson Post all-county football team. Coach kind of laid out your stats, over 3,000 yards rushing. It could be even more, obviously. He mentioned he kind of wants to save you for the postseason. Obviously, you're going to have an opportunity here next year to play Division I football at the next level. Offers from UT Martin in Eastern Kentucky right now. Kind of tell me, don't say a school, where that process kind of stands for you and some timelines that you're looking for.
Right now, still searching for a home. Both are pretty good with me. I got a couple other schools that are connected with me well. UT Martin, they do stand out. They recruit very hard. They take dedication with it. So right now, just searching, taking time, putting God first, letting him guide me.
I got to ask you, you do know a guy that so happened to be your quarterback the last couple of years that is at UT Martin right now. How big of a factor is he for you in that recruiting process to allow that backfield duo to continue maybe a couple more years?
Man, Cannon, that's my guy, man. A lot of people don't know we also played middle school ball together when I was younger. So it's been good playing with these last couple of years with him. It feels good. You know, he talks to the coaches for me. He's like a good fit for me. You know, it feels good just having him. If I do end up at UT Martin, I got that same quarterback. We got that connection. Get to share it again and show everybody what we can do.
Yeah, I have to ask you, when you think about the landscape of just your offense going into this year, you lose all 5 offensive linemen on the offensive line. Obviously, guys who were pillars for this team that really allowed you guys, particularly you, Cannon, Piggy, to be successful. The wide receivers on the outside as well. You know, obviously with Cannon graduation and then the offensive line subtractions from graduation, you're really seen as a leader on this offense. How have you kind of accepted that role this offseason? How you try to grow into it, particularly now as a captain?
I'm definitely just trying to be an example. You know how everybody else was for me because I had to wait my turn. You know, I'm trying to be an example, just set a good foundation for them, you know, teach the young guys. We got some young backs like Jalen, just trying to guide them, you know, help them be ready for next year when I'm going. You know, our O-line, they work hard every day. I push them, you know, just working everybody hard. I help Seth. Sometimes he may get in his head. Sometimes just being that helping hand for him, just let him know like he's good. Because Seth is a real good guy. He's got good potential. So, you know, just guiding everybody, trying to be what Coach Crouch is for us, be a leader, be that head to the like not the tail, be the head this time, and just lead everybody up front from the front.
Yeah, you mentioned Seth Frankenfield. Obviously, Coach Crouch has kind of mentioned to us. Obviously, him and Brady Coleman are going to see a vast majority of reps through the first 4 of the games of the season. Obviously, kind of with the way that your schedule is structured, 4 non-region games to start the year, then you jump into region play with Gallatin. How have you you mentioned this as well, kind of try to help mentor those guys? Obviously, they come in seeing what Cannon was able to do last year. Coach Crouch has mentioned they don't have to be Cannon. They just have to be themselves.
Just telling him every day, you know, Seth may not be able to run like Cannon, but he can definitely sling the ball, you know, just play his game. He doesn't have to try to play out of his game because that's when you mess yourself up. So just be yourself. You know, you got Brady. Brady is also, he's more of a versatile. He can run a little bit. So we're using him kind of as a receiver. We got him at safety a lot. So it helps our offense out more when we got a couple threats. We also got receivers like Zalon Beard. He'll have a big year this year. He's a big standout. So it's just trying to, you know, help him.
Yeah, last question for you. I'll let you go enjoy your dinner. Back-to-back region champs. What is the biggest key for this team by when we have Mayor's Cup the day before Halloween this year for you guys to be region champs again?
Discipline. Give everything you got every play. You know, come out there with grit. Go hard every play. And a lot of things I said yesterday as well. We got to have like composure. Be composed. You know, when things go wrong, be able to attack it and just bounce back. So that's a big thing, composure.
Well, fellas, I appreciate you joining and spending some time with us. I don't want to let your chicken and your fries get cold. Appreciate you doing it. Looking forward to seeing you guys this season. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. After this commercial break, we'll talk to a couple Green Hill coaches that are standing by. Stay tuned.
What? Yeah, I'll be right there.
Bad transformer over there. Come on, guys.
It takes all of us to power a community. Here's to everyone who makes it thrive, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hello, my name is John Davis, and I'm the president and founder of Legacy Athletic Fund. I'd like to share with you how we got started. In July of 22, I was on the staff of a spring football league that ran out of money. I found myself in the hotel lobby subjected to an emotional rant by a very frustrated player. It was during his outburst that I realized he was yelling to me and not at me. I knew he deserved better. Every player deserved better. That event led to a 2-year journey and the development of our Pro Cycle program, as well as the base mission for Legacy Athletic Fund, which is to build a better world by building better people who are empowered through better athletic achievement. Our focus is to build a legacy of access, growth, engagement, and support for our younger athletes, as well as our local community. which leads me to ask, what's your legacy?
You're seeing the signs too, right?
What signs?
What I think of Delta Dental now, it's really their core values. It's the volunteerism, it's the giving back.
Delta Dental gives us 10,000 toothbrushes. So twice a year, we have these children that are going home with food that may not have weekend food, and they're also getting a toothbrush.
The best partners are the ones that truly do impact the community together, and I don't think there's a better example of that than our partnership with Delta Dental.
At Superior Construction and Design, we believe a home should feel as good as it looks.
From thoughtful space planning and building to custom interiors, every detail is carefully considered.
With decades of experience in construction and residential interior design, we got our clients from the first idea to the final finishing touch. Superior Construction and Design. From foundation to furnishings, we make it feel like home.
Hey, come here. You want a chance of winning 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener? Monday, August 3rd, 6:30 p.m., ML Rose, Mount Juliet. Legacy Athletic Fund is hosting their first ever fundraiser, a sports trivia event. Winner gets 4 tickets to the Tennessee Titans season opener. You also have a chance to win Nash SC tickets and Nashville Sounds tickets. We're also going to have a silent auction going on. So get 4 people that know ball, $100, $25 a person. Proceeds go towards funding their first community initiative, a free nutrition program for the general public and local athletes. Come on out for a chance to win.
They're up early because the small businesses in our communities don't wait for the day to begin. They're always getting ready for the next customer, the next order, the next idea. And they all run on good energy. The kind working quietly behind the scenes, powering every open sign, every plan, every long day. The kind you can always count on. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Welcome back into Aubrey's Restaurant in Lebanon, Tennessee, site of our inaugural Wilson County Media Days, presented by Middle Tennessee Electric, the company that continues to bring good power to the residents of Wilson County. Closing out our Green Hill segment of the show, final segment of the 3-day event overall, with Green Hill assistant coach Stephen Clemens and Green Hill assistant coach Zach White. Coach Clemens, you grabbed the microphone first, so we'll talk with you first, particularly on the defensive side of the football. Just when you think about what graduated from this team last year, when you lose the production and the leadership of Ameza Danian, the production, Coach Crouch mentioned, he doesn't think he's coached a better defensive back than Mike Palmer. You think about TJ Buchanan, a lot of loss from last year's team, a lot of leadership, a lot of good quality football players. When you have a guy like Will Butler, though, that can kind of mask things defensively, I know that excites you on that side of the football.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you lose as many players as we did this past season, they were phenomenal players we had. But I think that the group we got coming in has done a really good job of, stepping into the role. We've got a lot of new kids. Will's the anchor in the back end. It's the only one we kept. But we've had a lot of kids step up. King is a returner at corner, and Kel Loudermilk is doing well at DB. We've got a new guy, Charlie Neal, transferred to us. He's playing very well. So, we've got a lot of kids that are stepping up. But, yeah, it's going to be a lot to replace.
Yeah, when you think about that senior class, obviously Josh has a love, particularly for them, for just what they meant to the program overall. You mentioned just a lot of new guys. Where have you seen the biggest area grow from spring ball throughout the summer that allows that defense, all right, we can continue to have the kind of success we did last year?
I would say that, we had several kids out in the spring. So King was out for some of the spring, and he's a returner. Gabe Eulers, he started linebacker last year. He was out all spring with an injury, and we've got all those kids back in this offseason or the summer, and they've done a good job of leading the younger guys. But I think linebacker, for one, Evan Buckner is a kid that is has really come on, and him and Hewitt. We've got two, but I think linebacker is where we're seeing the most growth.
I'm going to ask you, obviously, your schedule for the first 4 weeks of the season in non-region play is some of the toughest ball throughout the state that you're going to be played, particularly at least for the first two teams that you face. They're going to have new quarterbacks this year. Obviously, Sawyer Phillips is going to take over at Beach for Caton Powell. Well, I take that back. Cam Cruzy is coming back for Page. I'm thinking about Ravenwood. Ravenwood's going to have a new quarterback as well. You're going to see a variety of different things and looks throughout the first couple weeks of the season. How do you kind of game plan and get those guys ready to go, particularly for Beach, who, in talking to our Sumner County reporter, might be throwing the football a little bit more than they have done in years past?
Yeah, I was at Gallatin before I was here, so I played Beach several times, and last year was my first win ever against them. They are a hard-nosed football team. Coach Crabtree does a great job. We're just taking it one day at a time, trying not to, look ahead to those other teams. Right now, Beach is our main focus, but our first 3 games are very, very tough.
Didn't want to grab it to you too soon. Sorry about that. Talking to now Green Hill offensive coach Zach White. Coach White, obviously, when you think, and I'm talking to Josh about this, I don't know if this is the place you necessarily thought I was going to start, but when you lose 5 seniors up front on the offensive line, that's very key. And just kind of finding some guys that can gel and obviously provide some security for a new quarterback this year as well. And obviously, Zach at the running back position. Where do you feel like the offensive room, particularly on the offensive line, shakes up right now?
Yeah, I mean, when you lose a group that we had last year, 3 of them were 3-year starters for us, all 5 seniors last year, is probably one of the best offensive line groups I've ever been around. But it really is one of the fun parts of high school football when you coach the guys that come into your building and you take care of them. And at the end of the day, it's our job as coaches to put them in the best position that we can, their skill set, what they can do, and what we can be successful doing with them. Those guys are getting better every single day. Just the growth that they've made over the course of the summer, from the end of spring practice to where we are now, getting ready to go into our first scrimmage. I've got all the faith in the world in those 5 guys up front and what they're going to be able to do for us this year. And I think they're going to surprise some people at the end of the day.
You have to ask you, Coach Crouch just kind of mentioned, particularly with the quarterback position, obviously there is no replacing Cannon Burrows, particularly with his production and his leadership. Obviously 2 young guys are going to now step into that room. Seth Frankenfield, who is a sophomore, Brady Coleman, who is a junior. Each of them does things a little differently than one another that allows them to be successful. What were some things that you guys were looking for throughout spring ball, throughout summer, even now going to playing against Kirkwood this weekend? Some things that you're looking for, some measuring sticks that allow to see them continue to grow and maybe see some separation in that room.
So, I mean, the big thing with both of them and what we tried to impress on them over the course of the offseason was we don't need you to be Cannon. We need you to be the best version of yourself. And as we've gone through the summer, they've both been really good for us. What we need out of them, we just need them to distribute the football, keep us out of negative plays, keep the chains moving forward, extend drives, and just make the right decision. And sometimes the right decision is, throwing the ball 3 rows deep in the bleachers, but don't force anything, don't make the big mistake, and live to play the next play.
Yeah, and when you think about when it comes to easing those guys into a workload, having a security blanket like Zach Cartwright in the backfield is a plethora for them to have. Coach Crouch mentioned over 3,000 yards in his career. Going to have an opportunity to play at the Division I level next year. What do you feel like allows him to be so successful and so dynamic as a running back and one of the best in the mid-state?
I think one of the things that really separates Zach is his patience and vision and his ability that when he sees a crease, he's got an incredible burst when he sticks his foot in the ground. And then one thing that I don't think people give him enough credit for is Zach is a deceptively powerful runner. I can't think of too many times where I've seen him get tackled and the pile hasn't fallen forward. And that's a credit to the work that young man does in the weight room in the off season and everything that he does. And I mean, at the end of the day, as Zach goes, we're going to go. And I don't personally expect any drop off from him this year. He's an exceptional football player, an exceptional young man, and I think he's going to do some really good stuff for us this fall.
Yeah, one of the last questions I'm going to ask you to round out media days and just the segment overall. Obviously, you lose to graduation your top 4 wide receivers from last year. There are going to be some new faces in that room, particularly when Seth wants to throw the football around. Obviously, Will Butler is going to be a guy returning who made some big plays for this group, that position group last year. Who are some other faces that we maybe do not know of, the media doesn't know yet, that we're going to come to find out on Friday nights?
Yeah, I think one of the funny things that goes from last year, and apparently I'm just not a very good coach, but at one point last year, Will had 3 catches and they were all 3 touchdowns. So apparently we needed to be getting him the ball a lot more last year. But some names that people are going to hear this fall that are going to have really, really good years for us are Xylon Beard, Nick Gadbois, Andrew Englehart, Hudson Garrick, Callaway Cates is coming along for us. I think he's a guy that could end up seeing some time on Friday nights. But we've got a young group, but it's a talented group. They're inexperienced, but they've been in our system for 3+ years. I feel really good about where this receiving room's at right now.
Well, Coach White, Coach Clemens, really appreciate you joining us here, closing things out on Media Day. Best of luck this season. We'll see you guys soon.
Yep, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do for high school football. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on the Wilson Post, Main Street Preps, and Chronicle of Mount Juliet Facebook and X pages. Appreciate you joining us for the last 3 days. Football's around the corner. We'll see you then. Thank you.